Okay, let's add a little bit of site context. So let's add a sidewalk around our building. I'm just going to roll up till we're at the top view of this building. And I'm going to quickly draw a piece of floor that kind of defines the outside sidewalk area. So I'm going to go to architecture. I'm going to grab the floor tool, floor architectural. And I can start with any, I guess anything I want to here, but because I'm going to have to modify it. So I'll leave it at floor generic. I'm going to go and edit this now and duplicate it. And I'll call this sidewalk. And we'll go ahead and edit this. It's a foot thick. That's probably excessive. So let's just say 8 inches, although this isn't that important. What is important is we get some sort of texture on it. So let's create a new texture. So I'm going to go to create a new material. And I'll go ahead and rename this by right-clicking on it and renaming it. And we'll look for some kind of a texture that we can add to this. So I'm going to open up the library and go to the appearance section. And let's say we'll look for, well, let's see if we have anything in concrete. Not seeing anything I like. Let's see if we can go to site work, pavers interlocking, pavers running. Pick any one of these. Let's go with pavers gray brown. I'll add those in. It's updating. And we'll see what that looks like when we actually add it. And we can always come back and edit it. So I'm going to click OK with all of that. Now we have a sidewalk texture applied to that. And I'll click OK and OK. And we're ready to start drawing something. So what I'll do right away is I'm going to start at this bottom corner here. And I'll just draw some area around it, so to speak. And then I'm going to modify it a little bit. I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it out 16 feet just to give some breathing room in front of the building. And I'll do the same with this line using the move tool again. And then I'm going to add some radius to the front because these are curbs. This is a sidewalk, let's say. So I'm going to use my radius tool. And I'm doing this just quickly to put those in. And then I'm going to come back and change the dimensions of those. And I'll change these to 6 feet. I might just type in 72 feet that was. I'll just type in a 6. I'll do the same thing over here and type in a 6, and that gives us a 6-foot radius. I'll click complete. It's going to ask us the attachment thing again, and we don't want to do that. And I'm going to look now at this from, let's say, an isometric view here so we can get an idea of what we've done. So let's zoom in and see what the pavers look like. They look really fine. I'm going to try and adjust that texture. So let's go to Manage and go to Materials and Sidewalk, and we're going to click on that paver surface. And you can see how that's way too small. The sample size is way too small. If these were 1 foot each, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 by 4. So let's say we'll do 4. We'll type 4 in here. Oops, no, we'll type 48. And they're locked together, and that's done. And we'll click Apply. And now we have a larger pattern there. I'm not really tickled pink with that, but that's a fine start for a texture on our outdoor sidewalk area. So the other problem we have, though, is it's continuing in on the building. So we have to figure out a way to subtract that away there. So let's go ahead and I'll double click on this. So we're back to editing with it. And I'll just show you quickly the idea here. If I was to come in and make any kind of an opening and click complete, I'm going to automatically get a hole there. And so I'm going to do the same thing over here. So what I'm going to do is I'll edit this again, and I'll delete this, and I'll use the line tool and just mark out where we don't want to actually add. We've got some kind of a strange overhang here. I'm wondering what's sticking. Oh, we're actually looking at the footer. Let me actually Let me step back on this a little bit and come back in and draw a little more carefully. So I'm going to come to the inside edges of the building. Bumping in here because the sidewalk continues into that area. And we have a little bit of a return in here, and I actually can't see that. So actually I'm going to change this to wireframe for a minute. This will let me. There we go. And now I've lost track of where my drawing tool is. I wasn't set on continuous anyway, so I've lost some of these lines. Or change, should I say. So let me go back and add a couple of these lines in. And then once again over here to that place that comes back. Whoops. Made that one a little crooked. And we need one other line here to close the box. And I won't save it because I'm going to save it as a piece of progress. And again, don't attach. And then let's go ahead and look at this in a model view. Let's pick the other side here. And let's go back to rendering. Just so we get an idea what it looks like. And when we zoom in now, you can see how we've extracted out that area for the floor that's inside. And I hate the paver, so I'm going to pause and look for another paver material and come back to you. Okay, so under site work, I found a material. Oops, excuse me a second. If I scroll down here, is concrete walkway that I've selected. And that has a pretty good appearance to it. And we can adjust the size of it a little bit. That's 4 feet, which isn't too bad, but we might want to change this to 2 feet. And that looks a little fine. Let's see if these are set for the same thing. This is also set for 4 feet, so I got to change that's a roughness texture, and that also needs to be the same way. And I'm actually unhappy with that being so small, so I'm going to change that back to 4 feet. Sorry for that runaround. Maybe you're happy with it. But I think that looks a little more realistic for the idea of a concrete sidewalk. So next we'll look at adding a road and some curbing.